Being in a political position holds a lot of power.
People would not say to you face to face, but they're hiding behind keyboards, and that's the danger.
It means that your life is under constant scrutiny, with plenty of rules and stringent regulations.
She opened her window once. There were calls. Shut the window! It never opened again.
As different political leaders all over the world are held up to these standards, so are their wives. They too have to live their lives in a certain way. Some of these rules are so strict that they sound absurd. What are these rules? How do they dictate the way these women live? Join us on this episode as we explore the strict rules that the wives of some famous politicians have to follow, even if they don't like it. Peng Liyuan needs to smile at all times. Peng Liyuan is the wife of the President of China. As a country, China now has the greatest economy in the world when it comes to purchasing power parity and the second largest nominal GDP in the world. It is also one of the most populous countries in the world. All of these achievements contribute to the substantial power and influence the country has on its people and the rest of the world. It is a no-brainer that whoever is in charge of the country also wields a lot of power of influence. And the man behind it all is none other than Xi Jinping. As the president of such a powerful country, Xi Jinping is bound to have a lot of attention on him, and his wife isn't spared the same treatment. Peng Liyuan got married to her husband, Xi Jinping, on September 1st, 1987. She wasn't just any random person. Before her marriage, she made a name for herself as an award-winning contemporary folk singer. Her father was the director of the Yuncheng County Cultural Center, and her mother was a major opera singer in the Yuncheng County Opera Troupe. Her mother was a major influence on her, and by the age of 4 to 5 years old, Peng Liyuan could sing opera excerpts. She was introduced to her husband by friends in 1986. At the time, Xi Jinping was working as the deputy mayor of the eastern port city of Xiamen, Fujian. In 1992, the couple welcomed their one and only child, a daughter named Xi Mingzi. As the wife to the President of China, Peng Liyuan lives her life in a somewhat docile way. Because of the strict gender roles the country is known to have and live by, Peng can't do much in a leadership position. In Chinese society, men view any working-class woman as a feminist and unfit for a serious marital relationship. The president isn't left out from adhering to this ideology, and as such, his wife has to obey and comply with the status quo. Thus, her role as First Lady has been relegated to essentially being a puppet. Most of what she has to do involves accompanying her husband to state or national events or places where he has to make an appearance. Her job is to look nice, smile wide, and be by her husband's side at all moments. Picture a textbook family where the husband is the head of the home, and the wife has to cater to his every need. This isn't particularly ideal, especially in this current political climate, but it is the reality for First Lady Peng Liyuan. This next woman probably has one of the most intriguing rules to live by. Her life is a mystery, and here's what we know. Ri Sol-ju isn't allowed to appear in public. Things probably sound worse when it comes to Ri Sol-ju. She is the wife of Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea. The northern half of the Korean peninsula is occupied by North Korea, also known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The country is closed off, its government is dictatorial, and the Kim family is the center of a cult of personality. North Korea isn't democratic, despite its moniker. Its controversial past is characterized by the deadly Korean War and it split from South Korea during World War II. The nation, which has developed nuclear weapons and received worldwide condemnation for its record on human rights, is nevertheless a closed-off state that has an odd combination of communist beliefs and authoritarian leadership. And yet, even with its irregularities, the elites of North Korea still manage to live their respective lives in opulence and glamour. Little is known about Ri Sol-ju. Even her year of birth has been speculated to be from 1985 to 1989. Her union with Kim Jong-un came about from Kim Jong-un's father. According to the BBC, Kim's father, Kim Jong-il, quickly arranged for both of them to get married after he had a stroke in 2008. The following year, they got married, but it wasn't until 2012 that their union became known to the public. Official North Korean sources haven't released a lot of information on Ri Sol-ju. Most of the information available today is obtained from foreign speculation. Her family and upbringing are said to be from the political elite, and some analysts say that her name is almost certainly a pseudonym. She is also said to have studied abroad in China, where her reports say that because of her musical past, they are trying to erase all traces by confiscating bootleg CDs of her performances. In 2012, it was said that she was studying for her PhD in science at Kim Il-sung University. This all sounds so stifling, but it's just the beginning. North Korea has numerous draconian laws, and they extend to women citizens. Ri isn't exempted from said laws. For instance, the reports say that she isn't allowed to appear in public at all unless she is with her husband. She has also been made to cut all ties from everything that connects her to her life before becoming the First Lady. Even with her alleged PhD in science, she isn't allowed to speak on any topics in public. Some other sources say that the way her hair is styled and her posture is all calculated. She also can't leave the country without getting approval from her husband. At the end of the day, there is hardly any difference between her and her husband's numerous subjects, except the title and position she holds on paper. The British monarchy is a beacon of order and structure. But what really goes on behind the scenes in the royal family? Queen Camilla has to wear black dresses. Camilla was born on the 17th of July, 1947. Her father was a British Army officer turned businessman, and her mother was the daughter of Roland Hubert, 3rd Baron Ashcombe. She was raised in East Sussex and South Kensington, England, and her education was spread across England, Switzerland, and France. A biographer, Giles Brandreth, described Camilla's childhood as perfect in every way. He also said Camilla is often described as having had an Enid Blyton sort of childhood. It was much grander than that. Camilla, as a little girl, may have had some personality traits of George, the tomboy girl among the famous five, but Enid Blyton's children were essentially middle-class children, and the Shans, without question, belonged to the upper class. The Shans had positions, and they had help. Help in the house, help in the garden, help with children. They were the gentry. They opened their garden for the local Conservative Party association. Summer fete. Enough said. In addition to representing the monarch in public, Camilla is the patron of many organizations and charities. She has been fighting to increase awareness for osteoporosis since 1994, and for this, she has received numerous honors and prizes. She has also run campaigns to bring attention to problems like poverty, illiteracy, rape, and sexual abuse. Her relationship with her now husband, King Charles III, started as an affair. Camilla was married to British Army officer Andrew Parker Bowles, and King Charles was married to Princess Diana. However, in 2005, they both got married and she was known as the Duchess of Cornwall before her husband's eventual ascension to the throne. The British monarchy is popularly known for the many rules and regulations that they impose on the royal family. Since Camilla became a part of them, she too has her peculiar rules. For starters, she is commanded to have a black dress as part of her luggage. This is so that she can attend a funeral that pops up at the last minute. She can only wear neutral-colored underwear, and she can't make an appearance in public unless she wears full-length tights. Apart from her general appearance and clothing, she is not allowed to refer to members of the royal family by their nickname. She is mandated to keep her chin parallel to the floor when she's in public, so she doesn't come off as too arrogant or too shy. She is not allowed to have a social media account, take selfies with the public, or sign autographs. When she's at public events, she can't begin eating until her husband sits at the table, and she has to stop by when he's done with his food. The intriguing thing about the British monarchy is that its rules are constantly changing, so Camilla may just have more rules assigned to her in the future. Imagine someone constantly watching your every move and everything you say. This woman knows a thing or two about it. Sarah bint Mashur Al Saud can't speak in public. Owing to its enormous oil reserves, Saudi Arabia is a major energy exporter and an important force on the international scene. The nation isn't, however, resting on its achievements. It is aggressively expanding into industries such as renewable energy, tourism, and technology to strengthen its economic structure. Who is the man steering the ship? Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia is one of the richest men in the world, with an estimated net worth of about $25 billion. His family is one of the most powerful families in the world, and they have a combined net worth of about $1.4 trillion. It's even more than that of the British royal family. With all of this impressive background, marrying into this family means you get a lot of pressure and responsibilities hoisted onto your shoulders. Because this is the Saudi royal family, Islamic laws and religious conduct are held to a high standard. For Sarah, she isn't left out of the equation. Sarah and the Crown Prince got married in 2008, and they are both half-first cousins. Her grandfather is King Abdulaziz, her father is Mashur bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, and her mother is Noura bint Mohammed Saud Al Kabir. As a couple, Sarah and the Crown Prince have 5 children: Prince Salman, Prince Mashur, Princess Fatah, Princess Noura, and Prince Abdulaziz. Being a woman in Saudi Arabia is already a challenge, and being in the public eye in such an important position adds an extra layer to that challenge. For example, Sarah isn't allowed to speak in public unless her husband speaks to her. She is expected to abide by the rules of Islam and take whatever her husband says as the final word. She has a close eye on her at all times because the few times she has been interviewed have been in the presence of other royal officials. Whatever she says or how she acts is policed, so nothing reflects poorly on the royal family. Ever wondered what it's like to fall in love with one of the most powerful men in the world? Now you'll know. Alina Kabaeva can't be found online. Alina Kabaeva is a retired individual rhythmic gymnast who became a Russian politician and media manager. Her gymnastic career started at age 3, and at age 15, she won the 1998 European Championships in Portugal. She has an impressive portfolio as a sportswoman, including being a 6-time Russian national all-around champion. As a political person, Alina has faced criticism due to her lack of experience and high salaries. She has also managed to scale through multiple offices, and the rumor mill thinks that it is because of her relationship with none other than Russian President Vladimir Putin. In 2008, Alina Kabayeva was first rumored to be dating Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, Putin isn't the most loved man in the world. He is known for his firm hold on Russia, alternating between being the president and the prime minister for decades. He is also considered to be one of the most feared men in the world. According to official sources, he was married once in 1983 but got divorced later on. The first rumors of Alina and Putin's relationship started with a former newspaper publication that got shut down when they covered the news. However, this didn't stop the wildfire of their relationship from spreading. Over the years, the links between them have only grown more and more. For instance, she is said to have 3 children with Putin. This news can't be confirmed because the news agencies in Russia aren't allowed to cover the story for fear of being shut down, and for someone like Putin, he has to have his private life kept private. This extends to Alina. She is basically off the grid. She has to only attend to domestic matters at home. Apart from that, news sources state that she always travels with heavy security, and both Alina and Putin are rarely in the same room together in public. Because their whole relationship is based on speculation and more or less an open secret, both of them seemingly have to work double time to clean up their tracks and tie up as many loose ends as they can. Sometimes being a fashion powerhouse and an intellectual isn't enough. The next person on our list has an idea about it. Sheikha Moza bint Nasser al-Misned can't make uncensored speeches. Known for her elite taste in fashion and unmatched style, Sheikha Moza bint Nasser has carved a name for herself. Over the years, her stylishness has been well documented, and her status as a fashion icon has soared. She was inducted into the Vanity Fair International Best Dressed Hall of Fame list in 2015 after placing second on the list of Vanity Fair International Best Dressed Women in 2011. She has altered haute couture designs to comply with Qatari modesty laws, according to Vogue. She has participated in Fashion Trust Arabia, a women's wear-focused organization that was founded in September 2018. Not only is she such a fashion goddess, but she is also the mother of the current Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani of Qatar. She is one of the 3 consorts of the former Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. Some of her other monikers include the enlightened face of a profoundly conservative regime, the actual ruler of Qatar, and the matriarch of modern Qatar. She was born on the 8th of August 1959 and is the daughter of Nasser bin Abdullah al-Misned, a famous opposition activist. Although she was born in Qatar, she grew up in Kuwait because of her father's exile. He was imprisoned for challenging the policies of the then emir. In 1977, she and her family moved back to Qatar, and that same year she got married to her husband, Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. She is the second of 3 wives. She holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and a master's degree in public policy in Islam. She is known for her philanthropic work and intellectual speeches. Moza is passionate about societal issues such as poverty, youth unemployment, and child education. Sheikha Moza has played a significant role in the Qatar Foundation, a group that has helped Qatar rebrand and reach a global audience. As co-founder and chair of the foundation, she plays a major role in promoting Qatar's foreign policy by spearheading projects like the opening of Western university campuses in Qatar. This is in line with Qatar's strategic plan to establish educational and philanthropic links and connections with Western governments. The nation's strategic choices and Sheikha Moza's active involvement in shaping Qatar's international reputation, particularly in the areas of humanitarian aid and education, make her influence clear. Despite living in opulence, her down-to-earth attitude has garnered the love and respect of her people. The nation of Qatar is known for its repressive values and stifling regime. Most people find it ironic that Moza seems to be so passionate about human rights and values. Some records reveal that there have been various cases of abuse under this regime, and in all of her dealings, Moza hasn't seemed to mention or address them. Now, this isn't her fault. The topics she speaks on have to be checked thoroughly and sifted through by her male superiors. This censoring is to prevent her from saying something that reflects badly on the government. Her life is closely controlled, and all of her movements are monitored by her husband and the emir. If you couldn't receive gifts for the rest of your life, how would it be? Try being the First Lady of America. Jill Biden is unable to receive gifts. Being the First Lady of America is no easy feat. You're supposed to be one of the foremost faces of the country. And for a country as powerful as America, your title and position is coveted. Such is the case for Jill Biden, wife of Joe Biden. Born on the 3rd of June, 1951, Jill is the oldest of 5 sisters. Her father was a bank teller and U.S. Navy signalman during World War II, and her mother was a homemaker. She was raised in Hatboro, Pennsylvania, and moved to Mayqua, New Jersey, when she was 8 years old. The Mawa Savings and Loan Association's CEO was her father. Following the family's 1961 relocation to Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, a northern suburb of Philadelphia, her father took a job as president and CEO of Intercounty Savings and Loan, located in the city's Chestnut Hill district. He spent 20 years in that role. Her grandmother frequently took her to Sunday services at a Presbyterian church, even though her parents considered themselves agnostic realists and did not go to church. Later, at the neighboring Abington Presbyterian Church, Jacobs self-enrolled in membership classes and was confirmed at the age of 16. Jill was always career-oriented. At age 15, she started as a waitress in New Jersey. She always had a special liking for English as a subject, and this led her to graduate with a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Delaware. She also holds master's degrees in education and English from Westchester University and Villanova University. In February 1970, she married Bill Stevenson, a former collegiate football player, and adopted the name Jill Stevenson. To improve her income, she took a year off from college and worked as a model for a Wilmington-based agency. After drifting apart, she and Stevenson split up in 1974. March 1975 saw her meet Senator Joe Biden. Biden had seen her photo in a local commercial, but they first met on a blind date arranged by his brother Frank, who had known her in college. She was pleased by his more formal appearance and mannerisms compared to the college boys she had known, even though he was nearly 9 years older than her. Following their first meeting, she told her mother, "Mom, I finally met a gentleman." She and Stevenson were going through tumultuous divorce proceedings at the same time. In May 1975, a civil divorce was approved. As Joe Biden is out solving an issue or another, Jill is expected to be the peaceful, loving, and welcoming Mother of America, as it were. Even though the White House is now their official living space, she is only allowed to redecorate some personal living spaces. Some rooms are off-limits because they are seen as some kind of historical monument. For example, the Lincoln bedroom. If by any chance she would want to redecorate these rooms, she would have to get explicit permission from the Committee for the Preservation of the White House. The windows of the White House are never to be opened under any circumstance. The former First Lady Michelle Obama said that one time her daughter Sasha opened the windows of the White House and they got calls from the Secret Service. Additionally, Jill isn't allowed casual shopping trips anymore. The clothes she wears are only to be worn once and donated after. She gets most of her outfits from designers and fashion houses, but after wearing them once, she has to give them out. Jill isn't allowed to receive gifts from anyone. The gifts she might get from foreign officials and governments must be handed to the National Archives and Records Administration. It was a bit worse a couple of years ago because first, families needed approval from Congress to receive gifts from foreign officials and governments. So, as long as anything Jill receives isn't flagged as a security risk, she is good to go. If not, well, she knows what to do. These rules might seem to be a lot, but this isn't Jill Biden's first rodeo. When her husband was vice president back in 2009 and up to 2017, she served as second lady. Also, in 2021, she announced that she would be returning to her teaching career, and this made her the first presidential spouse to hold a salaried job in the middle of a presidential tenure. Never having to work again might sound like a bed of roses, but for this next person, it may not seem like it. Empress Masako can't have a job. The Japanese monarchy holds the reputation of being the hereditary system with the oldest history in the world, dating back thousands of years. Its establishment is said to have occurred in 660 BC, but emperors most likely appeared centuries later. In the past, they were thought to be heavenly offspring of the sun goddess, although their influence changed with time. Real power was frequently held by military leaders such as shoguns. The Meiji Restoration of 1868 attempted to solidify the emperor's position, but actual power bypassed them. Although Emperor Hirohito was the head of state during that time, his involvement in World War II was a complicated matter. A significant change resulted from the war's defeat. By making the emperor the symbol of the state and of the unity of the people, Japan's post-war constitution essentially stripped him of his political authority. The emperor has been highly respected in recent times. His major responsibilities aren't actively political. They include performing ceremonial tasks like formalizing the appointment of the prime minister and representing Japan in international meetings. The current emperor of Japan is Naruhito, who became emperor after his father Akihito abdicated the throne. He married Empress Masako in 1993. On December 9, 1963, in Toranomon Hospital in Toranomon, Minato, Tokyo, Empress Masako Owada was born. Hiroshi Owada, a senior diplomat and former president of the International Court of Justice, and Yumiko Egashira are her parents. She is the eldest daughter. Setsuko and Reiko, her younger sisters, are twins. Masako and her family relocated to the Boston suburb of Belmont, Massachusetts in 1979, during her sophomore year of senior high school. Her father was appointed as a visiting professor of international law at Harvard University's Center for International Affairs. She was president of the National Honor Society and active in the math team and French club at Belmont High School when she graduated in 1981. Masako became a member of the school's softball team and received a Goethe Society Prize for her poems in German. After graduating from high school, Masako's father was sent to Moscow, but she chose to stay in Boston to pursue her further studies. When tensions over trade between Japan and the United States increased in 1981, she enrolled in Harvard College, where she chaired the Japan Society and became good friends with the Japanese consul there. She also volunteered as a sort of self-appointed diplomat and cultural ambassador. Masako enjoyed skiing and taking vacations abroad, where she studied at the Goethe Institute and stayed with a host family in France. Masako speaks French and English well. Following graduation, Masako returned to Japan and studied law at the University of Tokyo for 6 months from April to October 1986 to get ready for the entrance exam required by the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Only 28 applicants, including Masako and 2 other women, passed out of an initial 800. She met her husband for the first time for tea when she was a student at the University of Tokyo in 1986. Immediately, he was smitten by her, but Masako wasn't considered a suitable bride for Naruhito because of some controversy about her maternal grandmother. However, Naruhito didn't care. He kept chasing after her for the next 2 years. At first, Masako didn't want to be his wife. At the time, her career in diplomacy was taking off, and marrying him would mean that she would have to give everything up. After Naruhito's 3rd proposal, she finally gave in. Reports say that to win her over, Naruhito said being the Crown Princess of Japan was another kind of diplomacy. Following her mother-in-law, Empress Emerita Michiko Shoda, and her sister-in-law, Crown Princess Kiko Kawashima, Masako became the 3rd commoner to marry into the imperial dynasty. Being married to the emperor means that Masako isn't allowed to have a job at all. The only semblance of a job she can have is to collaborate with non-profit organizations, and that is after she gets permission from her husband. She is not allowed to vote or run for any kind of office or political position. However, this particular rule is generally reserved for the Japanese royal family. Masako is also traditionally expected to walk behind her husband when she attends family functions. It sounds obscene, but this is supposed to be a show of submission to her husband. Just like the First Lady of America, Masako isn't allowed to receive any gifts without the proper authorization from officials. Taking things a step further, she also isn't allowed to give or receive any property without approval. What do you think about some of these rules? Would you be able to handle them if you were in their shoes? Be sure to drop your comments and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more insightful videos.